Colossals of Horror. Hello and welcome to Colossals of Horror. This is Ep.6, and I am your host Darren Mitchell, along with my co-host
Lawrence Brown. You know the drill, guys. Grab that beer, pull up a chair, let's get this started.
Here we go.
Okay, well today on our episode we are going to be discussing the 1980 film Motel Hell. How did we come up with it this week?
This is one that goes way back, actually, how I heard about this. This goes back to middle school days. This is when I started liking horror movies and whatnot, and I remember my uncle, I guess he started seeing my interest in horror movies, and he's like ex-Vietnam, old guy, and I remember I was like 13, and like for some reason this movie has always stuck in my head. Like I never knew what it was called, never knew anything about it, but he told me the plot of it, and then suddenly, I think it was just like 6 months ago, I actually saw it on AMC. Or no, it was during, on AMC, they always do the 30 Nights of Halloween or whatever.
Yeah.
I actually was watching it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is the movie my uncle was talking about when I was like 13 years old, and I'd never heard of it before this, so...
Okay.
That's
because I remember you were telling me about it, so that's kind of how we found it.
Yeah, it was really random, but yeah, it just like came into me. I was like, wow, I've never seen this. It was just a very obscure movie that was on. I can't even believe that they played it on AMC actually. But...
Well, I'm just surprised because I feel like we've seen a lot of the 80s stuff. You know what I mean? So
this is like,
I don't even remember ever seeing.
This is one that I'm saying, like, I think, like it said it came out worldwide when I looked it up, but still, it was one of those that I think we'll go into, but it kind of like rips off a lot of movies, so I think it didn't become as a big cult phenomenon. I don't even know if it's a cult like movie. Favorite, like underground movie. So
yeah,
just heard about it from the crazy uncle. So
yeah, so I mean that's pretty much Lawrence is the one who discovered it for this week. And we watched it. I watched it a couple days ago, and
I just watched it last night. It was kind of a hard one to find, though. I mean, I ended up having to just find a website online that like streams free movies. None of that illegal stuff. Yeah. But I found it online because I looked on Hulu. I did find it on Amazon though. You could rent it on Amazon for $2.99.
So it was just a normal.
Yeah, I think you could buy it for $4. So you might
That's
as well
the thing
buy it.
with Amazon. It's like hit or miss with some of that stuff. You have to buy it for like $20. Or
yeah. Well, this one I was
cheap.
surprised that they actually had it on there, and even on the Blockbuster app too. If you're looking for it, they had it on there for $1.99. So you have many avenues to find this Motel Hell.
Hell, yeah.
And what a great title that is, too.
Yeah.
Just to start with, Motel Hell.
Motel Hell, yeah.
And also, too, I'll go into that. The whole reason they call it Motel Hell is, like, we'll go into it with how the movie is and stuff, but on the front of the motel, it's a sign that says Motel Hello, and then the O is just not lit
just
up.
like, it's like twinkling.
Yeah, it just keeps going in and out, so...
Okay, well, let's get into it. Motel Hell was put out in 1980 by United Artists.
It looked a lot older than that, right?
It looked a little old. It looked like a 70s.
I thought it was. See, and we'll go into that too. I thought it was around like Texas Chainsaw, like 70 something. So, but it was 1980. Yeah.
Yep. It was 1980, and United Artists and Camp Hill Productions put it out. And the funny thing about this is, it was actually tossed around to about 4 or 5 different production companies.
I read
nobody
that.
would pick it up.
It was like 3 years in the making of like trying to just shop this around and get it out there.
And and just no one believed in the script, I guess. Yeah. And United Artists just decided one day in 1980.
Well, they also said too that like I guess the original script, like this movie ends up the genre I would put under like black comedy kind of, which I don't really see it that funny. There's certain parts where like I would laugh at, but I don't think it was really meant to be funny. But that's what they kind of plot or put the category of the movie into. But I guess the original script they said was supposed to be this really like dark film. Like it was supposed to be really serious and stuff. But they kind of went with make it a little more just like cheesy, lighthearted horror movie. So
yeah. Well, this movie, like if you think about it, I don't know if it would be a horror. I don't know. They claim that the movie Student Bodies is like the first horror comedy movie, like almost like the Screams of the 90s.
It's the original Scary Movie.
It's So, and that came out I think a year after that, and they're claiming the first. So I don't know if people did the comedy thing.
Well, it wasn't even like it was supposed to be like a dark, like like we always go into Evil Dead and stuff, where Student Bodies is straight up like comedy, you know. So
yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, they originally wanted this to be a very dark, like the way they described it, and we'll go into it then with little areas of the film. It was supposed to be like just like some gross stuff that happens. So I'll point out some things when we go into it.
Okay, well, let's talk about who worked on it. The director was Kevin Connor, and Kevin Connor was noted for some other movies he's done. He did Frankenstein, the 2005 version.
Which one is that?
I didn't really
I don't
go
even know.
into
Yeah,
it.
I don't even know.
I don't think I've actually seen it. I remember seeing the cover
Okay.
around that time, but I don't think I saw it. He also did The Houses Where the Devil Dwells, or Where Evil Dwells. The House Where Evil Dwells, he did.
I think I've heard of that.
And he's also done From Beyond the Grave.
I know that one.
So,
Okay.
and then it was written by Stephen Charles Jaffe. Stephen Charles Jaffe did the movie Ghost. He did
Wait, like Ghost, like
Patrick
like
Swayze.
Swayze?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He did The Fly 2.
Oh.
He did Near Dark. He did Demon Seed, and he did The Day After.
Wow.
So there were some horror
And he
movies
wrote
that he
this?
did. Yeah, he was the writer. He wrote
Wow.
them. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then we can jump into the actors. The main character is Farmer Vincent. And Farmer Vincent owns he runs like a meat processing farm. He's kind of like the southern, meat packing dude.
Yeah,
he's on the billboard in the town.
He's renowned this member of society in their town they live in, and he's famous for the cuts of meats he has. And their tagline is, "It takes all kind of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters."
Yep, I have that written down too. There's actually another one. Another one's meats, meat, and men's gotta eat. Or meats, meat, and men gotta eat.
Yeah, he's just this guy he runs this hotel, and he's a famous meat. What do you call that?
He smokes meat. Yep. So Farmer Vincent was played by Rory Calhoun. Some other notable films he's been in.
He looked like he would be some old
he
famous actor.
He was in a lot. He died in 1999.
Okay.
And he was acting for about 50 years, so he's been in a lot of stuff. A lot of the old school Ray Harryhausen stuff.
I saw he was in a lot of old westerns and stuff too.
But he was in Tales from the Crypt, the movie, the original, 1989. He was in Revenge of Bigfoot in 79, and he was in Night of the Lepus in 72. Okay. So he did a lot of 70s.
So towards the end, he started went into the horror category.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 70s and the 80s stuff,
yeah,
and 60s are where he predominantly did that stuff.
Okay.
And then we have his brother in the film, which is the cop, Bruce.
That's supposed to be his brother.
The cop is his brother, yeah.
Really?
Yep, and the girl's his sister.
I knew the girl. Okay,
yep.
I did not catch that.
The cop's his younger brother.
Didn't even know that.
Yep. And he was played by Paul Link. Paul Link has been in a lot of movies too. He was in K-Pax. He was in Fallen Angels in 2006. He was in Killing Mr. Griffin in 97. He was in Shrunken Heads in 94, and he was in the original the Flash movie from 1990.
Oh my God, I actually saw that. Yeah. So the only real movie, if you want to consider a real movie, is K-Pax that he did.
I liked K-Pax. I just like Kevin Spacey though.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were pretty much the movies. I mean, he's been in a lot of TV shows and stuff like that too, but that's pretty much the movies most people would know. And then also on the farm with Farmer Vincent is his sister Ida. And she is played by Nancy Parsons.
Okay, right away, she's from Porky's.
Yep.
Okay, that's right. I was watching the whole time, like she's the freaking gym teacher who pulls the, She
was in Porky's 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
She was in all of them. She was also in Steel Magnolias. She was in Ladybugs, that movie with
no way,
that soccer movie.
No respect.
Yeah,
no respect.
So they were. I mean, she was in TV shows and stuff like too. But I just also want to say for this film, Motel Hell, she was nominated in 1981 for a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress.
In this?
For this film.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
I did see that under IMDb. I didn't do as much research as you, but I saw it had won award. I was like, okay, that's weird.
Yep. And then the girl in the movie, which comes into play, her name's Terry in the film, and she's played by Nina Axelrod. And she's been in a bunch of stuff, actually. She's been in Critters 3 and 4. She was in Cobra, this Sylvester Stallone movie.
Oh, God, that one, yeah.
Yep, she was in Brainstorm in 83. She was in The Graves, which is like one of those After Dark films.
Like the After Midnight or whatever, yeah.
In 2009.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure it's called, yeah.
She was also in Fright Night Part 2 in 88.
They made a sequel to Fright Night?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen it like around like.
You mean like the classic Fright Night?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Fright Night Part 2. She was in Night Flyers in 87. She was in Creature in 85, and she was also in Free Willy in 93.
Yes.
So, I wanted to throw that one in there because Free Willy's Free Willy. That's good.
Oh jeez.
And then also throughout the movie, there's also a cameo by Wolfman Jack.
Is that the priest or whatever?
He was the Reverend, yeah.
Okay.
And
What's
Wolfman
he
Jackson,
famous for?
He actually had a show. He had a horror show, like on TV.
So it was like a big deal that he was on there then.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then other movies he was in. He was in American Graffiti.
Wow.
He was in the entire Swamp Things TV series.
I didn't know there was a TV series.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he was in the Midnight Hour as well.
Okay.
So that pretty much wraps up who worked on the film and who the actors in the film.
Yeah, it kind of breaks it down for us to go into the plot. Now you got
let's go
all
on
the main characters. So
do you want to start it
yeah,
off?
I mean the plot of the movie. Well, let's see how it starts out.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So
It starts out.
for me.
It starts out.
I just watched it last night. I'm this brain dead right now.
It starts out with Farmer Vincent,
Vincent
loading up his shotgun at his hotel. And
Oh,
he goes
that's
out
right.
early in the morning. I think it's like 4 a.m. or something, to go pigeon hunting or
No. They
duck
go
hunting.
right into it. I think you're just assuming that he's going hunting or something.
Oh yeah, you're assuming he's going hunting,
Yeah.
so he goes out and
Right away off the bat, this has a very Texas Chainsaw vibe to me.
Yes,
like
yes.
how more or less he's going out to. Again, you think he's just this old man going out like hunting, which he is.
Yeah.
But he's hunting for some humans.
yeah.
So
he goes out and then you see like this guy screaming down this old dirt road with this girl in the back on a motorcycle, and
Bo.
they're going crazy. They're going fast or whatever, and then all of a sudden the motorcycle like crashes.
He
and
shoots the
tips
tire
over.
out.
Yeah, well, we don't find that out till later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because at
Okay.
first you just see him like kind of go off course or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then they roll off the side of the road or whatever, and then Farmer Vincent comes up and he collects the bodies, but he realizes that the girl who's played by Terry Nina Axelrod in this movie, she isn't dead.
Yeah,
but the
well,
boyfriend
no.
is dead.
No, he's not dead. 'Cause he's alive.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
he right away you can tell becomes like they do it right off the bat. He becomes smitten with this character and decides to keep her around.
He keeps her, so he takes her back to the motel, and his sister Ida's there, and they kind of doctor her up.
Yeah.
And then
And at first too, you're not really sure if Ida's in on the whole thing with this.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like wondering what's going on with that too. So
Yep. So it's pretty much, they take her back and they get her better, and she ends up starting to stay, like realizing like, well, that the guy who got
she doesn't know anything. Okay.
She doesn't know. Yeah.
So
ahead.
more or less, that's how the movie starts out, and right from there, you're going to know pretty much what the whole entire movie's about. So you think you're going to think it's a very cut and dry. Okay, he's going to just kill people and take them back and fall in love with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
But then it dives into a little deeper. The girl wakes up and she's like, "Where's Bo? Where's Bo?" Her boyfriend or whatever. He's like 40 years older. It looks like.
Yeah.
But so they go into that whole aspect of her like. And it's funny, too. Instantly, she has no idea who Vincent and Ida are, who own this motel, and instantly trusts them within, 5 minutes. They're like, well, I think you're going to love it here. Why don't you stay a little? So they go into that. The girl becomes acquainted with the family, and then it kind of dives down. Not the family, but the brother and sister. And actually the other brother, too, who's a cop, who he is kind of the heroine in the film. And it more or less just goes on like that throughout the whole movie with, again, the main plot is this guy just going around and setting up traps, which we'll go into that too. Each time he does different kind of traps, which become cheesier and cheesier each time.
Yep.
But so the big again, that's like kind of the intro, and you're like, okay, well, what's he doing with these bodies? What's going on? Then we break into the climax, pretty much. Not the climax, but the climax of
the story itself.
The story itself of why he's taking these people, and. You want to go into that one, or
it's just going to be hard to not give away too much.
This one we'll have to give away.
We're going to have to
actually
pretty much give it away.
I was thinking that too. When this happened, we'll go into the scene. Here we'll break it down. But I was going to say, if you watch this for the first time and had no idea, you'd be like, this would be a WTF moment. Like what? Because I've never seen anything like this in the film. So
I have to say it's kind of original.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It is
because again, I knew the story, but I was thinking, like I said, okay, so the girl's there, and then every night the farmer Vincent and Ida go out, and they're like, oh, we're going farming, we're planting, blah blah blah, and you're like, planting? What the heck are they planting at this hour at night? Because it's supposed to be 2 or 3 in the morning, and you end up the scene where you're like, what is going on here? They go into this secret little garden area.
Yeah, Farmer Vincent has I think he said it was the south end of his property. He drives up in his tractor every night, and It's kind of like this. It's like a gated.
It's supposed to be like hidden because it's like got
It's
vines
hidden.
all over it. And
Yeah, it
stuff.
has vines. It's supposed to look hidden, and it is. It doesn't really look like it until you see him go to it. So he goes into the closed off garden, and you see like these like potato sack bags on the ground,
which you think nothing at all at first until
you start seeing them like move.
They're moving
and
around,
shake, and like you hear noises and stuff like that.
Yes, you hear it. Almost sounds like a wild animal, just like
gurgling,
gurgling and stuff underneath these potato sacks. So.
And see, this is where it's gonna be hard not to give too much away.
I say we give it away.
Okay,
for this one you have to, because this kind of goes into the whole of why they're doing it and breaks it down.
Okay, so Farmer Vincent and Ida apparently they plant people, like they take people off.
Well, let's go to that scene. Literally, again, you have no idea if this is your first time watching it, and they just reach down and pull off this freaking potato sack, and you just see a guy's head. Yeah, and you're like, wait, is this attached? Is this detached? Like, what's going on? And then you see a incision, but an incision that has been taken care of, and sewn up, and this just guy in the ground. But there's also many other potato sacks, so they more or less are planting.
They've been doing this for years.
Yeah, this has been passed down. They say, again, you got to remember
from the grandma.
This will obviously a hint to what goes on, but to their meat curers, their meat smokers.
Their meat process is not just it's not animal products, and he goes by. It's funny because throughout the movie, like when people stop by and they buy his meats, because everyone knows his meats and they've been buying them for years, he claims there's no preservatives in his meat and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I definitely got a Texas. Did you ever see Texas Chainsaw 2? Got that vibe completely. Even the first one, because they kill the bodies and then make it out of their famous chili or whatever, and they have that scene where it's so Texas Chainsaw 2, which this came after, or actually came after the first one.
The first one,
where this guy's just sitting there with his family eating a big piece of jerky and just saying how this is the best beef jerky I've ever had, like classic any other horror movie you see these days, where it's like that crazy family who's eating people. So
the cannibals, yeah.
But okay, so that's pretty much the story with that and how they.
Well, let's go into it more. Like, when they plant people, they're actually the reason there was an incision on their throats is because they actually cut their vocal cords.
And that gives,
so they can't scream.
No one finding them. Yep.
They can't scream or anything like that. And then it's actually like a curing process. Apparently, like there's a process to them, like preparing the bodies to like
the natural way in the ground, I guess. And also too, they then go into them like actually feeding them, which is hilarious because they have a snorkel.
Oh yeah,
they just put like a snorkel in these people's mouths, and
it was a port in their heads.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was like a funnel, like a long funnel.
Because I thought
there's two. Because
I thought that at first, and I saw one where it looked like it was just a snorkel in their mouth.
It might have been that, but they also like were injecting something in their necks.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Yeah, that was I think just to like make them like calm down and like chill out, or like it was almost drugging them, But yeah, they just feed them through snorkels. They put it in their mouths and just start pouring the food. Like it's literally they're farmers. They're planting, the next harvest. So it's crazy, but So that's pretty much with that. And then, again, throughout the whole movie, they keep getting visitors to the hotel. And that's pretty much what the whole movie is. Just there's no real, like...
There's no rhyme or
reason
for
no,
it.
like, like in any other... I'm trying to think of the word, but... protagonist or whatever, like the girl, like let's say Halloween, it's Jamie Lee Curtis, or Evil Dead, it's Ash. Like there's no real character you're like... Oh, let's not, like, because the girl has no idea what's going on.
Well, see, at some point during the film, like, I noticed that Ida, his sister, she starts to almost, like, reveal too much to the girl.
Exactly, when they're having
what's going on. Like, yeah, like, I feel like she's almost starting to feel guilty. But at the end,
I
seems
think
like she's the crazy one.
To me, I think she's so ignorant that she thinks it's normal, and like, why can't people know about this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she seems like she was the sheltered one who just lives with the brother and does what he says. So, but anyway, so more or less the movie goes on with just person after the weirdest characters too, and the funniest characters just keep getting caught in like the weirdest ways, like all these traps. Like at one point he ends up going and putting out bear traps. Yeah, and the most fun and that one actually is the one where it's the 80s, like, or I guess the 80s metal band that they then topple over the van. Yeah. Which one of the guys, it's funny because we just did a review the other week where Norm was in the movie House. This was the freaking mailman from Cheers.
Oh,
I forget his name.
Yeah, I forget his name.
So,
that's gonna bother me. I know it.
Yeah, but it's hilarious because I'm watching and I see him getting planted into the ground. I'm like, there's another dude
I
from
thought
Cheers.
it was. I actually did think it
the
was
mustache,
him at first, but I didn't see anything when I looked.
Because he looks exactly the same too, as the mustache and everything.
Yep. Yep.
But and then they go into the next one where they put cardboard cutouts
cows.
of cows.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. And every time they get these people too, like they get them to a point where they're like either they wreck their cars or they have to get out of their cars. But then their main thing is they have the laughing gas.
Yeah, they
Remember
do
that?
the laughing gas to knock them out.
So if they're in the car and they crash, they just go up to them, they put it up, or like with the cows, they'll just like sneak up behind them and just put the laughing gas in their face, and that's how they like subdue them. So
so that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much how the film like ensues throughout it. It's pretty much like their encounters with other people, and then the brother, the cop, starts to fall in love with the girl that's there.
Yeah, then we got a little love triangle.
There's like a love triangle thing that goes on.
Yeah, because it ends up being Farmer Vincent is in love with the girl, thus why he took her in the beginning.
Yep.
But then also brother cop, he starts falling in love with her. So more or less, and this happens instantly as well, where like the girl ends up starting to turn down the cop, and then all of a sudden the next day, Farmer Vincent proposes to her, and she says yes.
Yeah,
like this movie moved very quickly.
Yeah.
It's just like wait, there's no build up.
Well, that's the other thing that was weird because the brother, obviously he was in love with the girl throughout the movie, and it's funny because he gets stuck in these situations where they get like radio calls on his cop thing about like people being run
that's
down.
right. They end up
like,
getting on the same like transmission or whatever you call it.
Well, yeah, but it's the brother is trying to figure out what's going on to these people, not knowing it's his brother.
And it's right underneath his
nose.
It's
like right underneath his nose. All the time.
I don't think it was his brother. Are you sure?
Yeah, it is.
Then why?
I didn't think it at first because at the end of the movie,
process?
or like in the middle of the movie, it tells he introduces him as his younger brother. That's the only reason I caught
That's weird.
that.
Then that he wouldn't know what was going on.
Well, he doesn't work on the
Well,
farm.
we didn't even break that down either. We did with the treatment and stuff. But so the movie progresses, and it's again same thing throughout the whole movie pretty much until the end of the film is more or less the girl what she do? She accidentally walks into because they live on a farm.
Farmer Vincent said he was going to teach her the ropes of how to smoke meat.
Yeah, and she was all excited.
She wants to
about
live on the farm now, and she loves country life, and she didn't have anyone before, so she's found sanctuary with these people. And so she gets a little curious, and she goes to the smoking barn.
She accidentally goes in, and then that's where she sees pretty much everything.
Yeah,
she
sees
to
see everything.
Bodies hanging, and it's so funny too. At one point, they go into it, and Ida's in there, and they're doing the treatment, and she's sitting there complaining about how hungry she is, and she just needs to eat it, and it's insane.
Yep.
So that happens, and then
we won't give the ending away. That's the one thing we won't give. No, because I think the one thing we can say about it is it definitely had like a You're Next, that new You're Next movie vibe.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
More or less, let's say,
or if you've seen what's that movie, Madison County or something like that. I think it's called Madison County. It has that vibe too.
Yeah, but sorry, we got a dog upstairs barking. If you hear that, but okay, well we won't give the ending away, but let's just say at the ending, this is kind of the coolest thing I do want to bring up. At one point, at the end, they should, and this is what I was going to say, they should have stuck with this throughout the entire film. Kind of because okay, we got Jason Voorhees, he wears a mask. We got Halloween, he wears a mask. At the ending of this film, Farmer Vincent is running around with a chainsaw wearing a freaking pig's head. Okay. Which kind of reminds me of Madison or whatever.
That's what I was going by. Madison County. I think it was a pig head.
It's like a ripoff, yeah. But I think they totally should have stuck with it because that ending kind of made it for me. I was like, this is creepy.
The ending was cool. And that's why I don't want to give away how it ends and stuff like that. But
they also at the end they have an epic chainsaw fight.
Yeah.
So I won't say who does it, but they literally have like a sword fight with chainsaws. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
So yeah, I mean that pretty much gives you guys a basic breakdown without.
Because we gave away a decent amount, we won't give away the ending because it is a pretty cool ending. It it gave me like a Night of the Living Dead vibe then too towards the end. So
yeah, and that's the thing I have to keep going back to. I see all these movies and I see all these movies that have come after this, and I feel like there's not a lot of originality in horror.
Isn't it weird too? Like I've noticed since we've been reviewing a lot of these movies, I'm like every little thing. It's like you really pinpoint like this has been done.
It's been done a million times. But that's why we wanted to do a movie like this because it kind of was original. It was original for the time. It was done in It was a ripoff to an extent with the whole because Texas Chainsaw just came out a few years earlier. Yeah, but they added their own little twist, which was cool with the planting the bodies and actually and also too. The reason they do it, let alone saying it's the best meat, whatever,
he always explains it as like he sees nothing wrong with it, and he's not even doing it in a malicious way, because he talks about that how
he talks about God and like and like doing.
He's saying this is God's work because there's not enough food in the world, and this is like his answer, their family's answer to this.
He justifies what he does by like God's word,
and also too, like
that,
we
which
brought
is
up,
kind of creepy.
Yeah, it gets to that creepy religious vibe, and then also too, like you were saying, they use that syringe on them because he said he treats his livestock better than most people treat their like pigs and cows. So he's actually like he's really not this real evil guy, and that makes it 10 times more creepy because he's not in his head. He's justified everything.
Yeah.
So
yep.
All right, let's go into some pros and cons of this film.
Do you want to start it off, or
yeah? Pro, I would definitely say, is the originality of it. I mean, again, I've never seen anything where they plant humans. Like, it was just a really cool concept, and like, I didn't even go into that too, how they wanted to make it a lot darker. Now that we kind of broke into that, but apparently they wanted to make this like a very serious drama, and almost go into like bestiality and just like really, really weird stuff. So,
jeez.
Anyways, I'm digressing, but I forgot to mention that. And okay, more pros. I don't know. Just I think that, again, the originality would be my biggest pro for this movie. Just seeing something I've never seen before, and like I said, if I didn't hear about this before, that would have been like a huge shock value for me. So even a movie that was made 30 years ago, like that would have shocked me if I didn't know about it.
Yep. All right. A pro for me, I would say, I'd have to agree with the originality thing. That's probably the biggest pro.
Yeah, it'd have to be. I like the banter in the movie too. I think that's a good pro, the banter between Ida and Vincent. Like, because again, you get that dark comedy, because like you're seeing people dying and it's like real weird, but like just it's almost that might sound weird too. It sounds almost funny, just like how the sister and brother like banter back and forth with each other, and so I'd say that's a pro too, to like lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, that and again, and I know I say it all the time and every week pretty much, but the music, they had this like,
I didn't even pay attention.
Yeah, I did, and there was like when something creepy would happen, they'd play this like backwoods like hillbilly music. Yeah, like in the background, and it had a cool flavor with that type of music and like the old gritty film look. You know, being an older movie.
I was gonna say it is old and gritty.
Well, that's what I mean. Like me, like personally, I appreciate movies from the 2000s, stuff like that, but I love the movies before like 1980 and earlier. You know what I mean? Or 90s
definitely.
And earlier, so. Okay, so cons.
I mean, again, the only con a big con for me is just the whole total almost ripoff of Texas Chainsaw with the family, and it's a different concept with them actually like trapping them and like or not trapping them, but creating traps and like booby traps for them to get them, because I don't think they do that in Texas Chainsaw. I forget, or maybe they do in the sequels.
I think they do, but it's not like how this.
Yeah,
is.
the first one they just kind of stumble upon them, but in this one, like they totally just they really.
You think they bit off a lot?
Yeah, they bit off a little bit too much than what they should have. Minus, again, making which was my pro, it's also a con how they just took a little bit too much from the Texas Chainsaw series. And yeah, I guess it would just be at that point Texas Chainsaw that they bit off, which it just came out a few years earlier. Yeah. So
at least wait 10 years before you rip some off.
Yeah, I mean, they waited, I think, I could be wrong. I think
it was late
Chainsaw,
70s, wasn't it?
Chainsaw came out in like 74, I believe. So it is a few years.
Yeah.
But... And again, like we said, every movie rips off every movie now.
At
so
some
I guess,
point, yeah.
And they did add their own originality. So that's just a kind of a pro or a con that I could pick from right now.
Cons for me is one of the big things I think is that they gave so much up front. So a little bit too much right up front.
Well, like we said, even just reviewing it, it's like we gave it away right away because like it's kind of hard to break down into it, you know?
Yeah, and I think that if they, I don't know, I just think they could have not done that right away. I think they could have made it. They could have gone on for another 20 minutes of the film before they started giving stuff.
At least,
away.
I mean, you find out what's going on in the first minute, like literally probably 2 minutes.
And sometimes that's a good thing. Like sometimes,
though you didn't find out the weird twist though until the middle.
Yeah, I could see that.
But
also just like there was times when the acting was good and the commentary between the sister and the brother and all that was good and like the eerie mystery of everything that's going on. But as far as action. Not really.
Very little. You're relying on the creepiness, and that's
and
the thing
not
too.
that creepy.
That's another con too, where I think that, like I said, how they originally were going to make it a lot darker. I think they should have.
Yeah.
Because that would have been such an awesome, creepy idea if they like. But at the same time, how do you plant people, and without making it like or without making it comedy? So
they could have made it gorier. I think it could have used some gore. I think it could have used more.
Yeah, but you gotta think about that too back then with those ratings. Maybe they want, because I don't even know what rating it was. I didn't look.
It might have been R.
Or
I don't know.
They might not have even had a rating system back.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forget when that came up. So.
Yeah, but okay. So that would be for me the biggest thing is that I think they gave away a little bit too much too early, and I think that they could have used a little bit more gore or a little bit more action.
Yeah, definitely. Needed something to flavor it up, and just like even like a chase. There wasn't even like a chase scene or anything.
No, it was. I mean, it was pretty like
but you gotta
monotone
think too,
the whole way.
You gotta think too. The main character really, he is an old guy in it. So like, I think they just were like,
and he was awesome. Rory Calhoun. He was a great actor. I thought.
That's what I was saying. That's why I was wondering if he was in anything like really good back then. So
I'm gonna go back and watch Tales from the Crypt, the original Tales
with
from
him,
the Crypt,
yeah,
and see what he's playing in it.
So let's get to that rating system. 1 to 4. 1 being the movie was horrible. 4 being it was awesome. So you want to start?
Sure. This one was a tough one for me because, again, it was great as an 80s movie, I think, just because 80s just had that flavor. It just had that just classic horror stuff, that you're seeing being replicated in today's movies. And so that has what's going for it for me. And then again, just but at the same time, them giving away. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle. So I feel like that's...
I got to do a solid point, remember.
I know. This is one of those movies I wish I could give a half point in because I would give it a 1.5.
Okay.
But because we're not doing that and we don't do that, I'm going to give it a 2 based on that because I don't think it's noteworthy of a 1, but I don't, I can't give it the 1.5. So I'm going to stick with that 2.
I'm going to have to totally agree with you on that because I would have it be a 1 for sure, 100%, if it wasn't for the cool twist of them planting the people. If that wasn't in there, it would be a 1. I'd say never freaking watch the movie. Not worth your time. Just a total ripoff. Yeah. But due to the fact that it does have that kind of weird twist that I've never seen before, I have to give it a 2. Like Darren said, we don't have half points in this. We're trying to make it solid points. So I'm going to have to go with a 2 as well. And it's strictly on that weird twist they had in it.
Now, based on your 2, would you recommend watching it?
No.
You wouldn't?
I would not recommend watching it. I'm saying from my point of view, I would tell no one to watch this film. It's not worth your time. Like Darren said, no excitement whatsoever. The only cool thing is, again, the twist where you now heard it, you're good.
Yeah. I am kind of leaning towards saying no too, but I do think people should.
Yeah.
I think, again, and we say it all the time, that if you're going to listen to this, you're going to watch movies like this. But I say watch it, but I wouldn't expect to enjoy it.
See, that's where we differ, where I think you're leaning towards more of 1.5 with it being the cup's half full. Yeah. I'm half empty, where I think, again, without that twist, this movie's crap. It's nothing.
Okay. So that is our Colossals of Horror rating. We give it a 2 all around for the movie Motel Hell.
Let's get into the Dead Pit, guys.
Okay, well, on today's Dead Pit, we're going to be discussing something that I'm actually kind of excited for. Frankenstein. A new Frankenstein is going to be coming out in 2015. And there isn't a lot of information about it right now. There isn't a trailer. They haven't even released who's going to be Frankenstein.
This is all just kind of hearsay right now.
It's hearsay. So. Well, it's definitely coming out. It has a release.
I mean, character-wise and stuff.
Character-wise, yeah.
Which I think we only have one.
The one that's notable right now, and you can take it how you want. I'm still on the fence if it's going to be cool or not. But Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, is going to be Igor. So
yeah,
I can't see him as being an Igor.
I can't see him as anything else but Harry Potter. I mean, even we saw that, what was that, Lady in Black or whatever?
Lady in Black. That movie sucked.
It was horrible. And the whole time I'm just sitting there thinking, that's Potter, and he's got a Lady in Black.
Yeah, so if it's anything like Lady in Black, I don't know.
Honestly, though, I've never been a big fan of any Frankenstein movie besides the old Universal monster movies. Yeah. But, like, I mean, oh my God, the one with Robert De Niro. You ever see that one?
I don't think
it's like 99. It was Robert De Niro played Frankenstein.
Oh, God. I have to watch it just to see that.
In the Frankenstein genre, though, I will say the Frankenstein Theory is pretty cool.
Yes, Frankenstein Theory.
So
yeah, that's a movie. Since we're talking about Frankenstein, see the movie Frankenstein Theory. Yeah. It's a really good movie. It's original.
We might review it at some point because
I think we will.
Cool movie,
I think we will because we've been talking about it a lot lately. So
and also Young Frankenstein. Gotta love that Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't see it exciting. They just came out with the other Frankenstein movie, I, Frankenstein, which was a comic book thing
last year.
With
this year.
Yeah, with what's his name, Two-Face.
Oh.
Can't think of his name. You know what I'm talking about, though. Thank You for Smoking. He played Two-Face in Dark Knight, but he played I, Frankenstein. And, I mean, that movie, I think that was out one weekend at the theaters, and then it just bombed. So,
oh jeez.
I mean, Frankenstein's that classical character. Like, what do you do with him? He's not fast.
It's been done a million times. So what are they going to do in 2015 other than really butcher it with CGI?
Exactly. Make it CGI. Make him fast. Make him this monstrous. Where Frankenstein is cool because he's this slow-moving creature made of dead body parts. You know, like what more can you do with it? You're reinventing something that has.
That's why I'm wondering: are these movies that are coming out now with all these reboots or whatever? Are they just looking to get paid, or are they looking to be artistic?
I think with this one, they're definitely looking to get paid because you're living off the Frankenstein name. Where other movies, like when they do the new zombie films, I mean, they've reinvented zombies. Zombies used to be slow and walk really slow and eat you as you walk by, and you'd be able to get by. Where now they're the fastest things ever attacking you. It's even, in my opinion, can be more scary at times. So
yeah. But
with Frankenstein, you just really can't go that route. I don't think, and hopefully they prove me wrong, but.
And I know that I can't say for sure, but I have this gut feeling that they're going to do something super over the top CGI. If they were to do something like we just talked about, Frankenstein Theory, if they did something like cool in that way,
Frankenstein Theory,
of more of like a real thing, that would be cool. But I know they're not going to do that with Daniel Radcliffe on it. They're going to make it.
And without going into
Harry
Frankenstein
Potter
Theory, they made that like where it's our time, it's present. Where if they do that now, if they go, it's like if they're actually going to stick with the Frankenstein, what's the author's name? God, we're doing bad today with names. Anyways, the original Frankenstein story. No, it's a chick. But if we're going to be sticking with the original Frankenstein story, it's been done. Like you just can't do anything with it. And they attempted to, like I said, with I think it's Mary Shelley. Does that sound right to you? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Anyways, they did that with the Robert De Niro one, and it was just horrible. Ewan McGregor was in it, and it was just, it was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. You have Robert De Niro, Goodfellas, moaning and being like, ah. So it just was horrible.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, it's next summer it's supposed to come out.
Honestly, my hopes, it's just hearsay.
Yeah.
I hope nothing comes of it.
Yep. I'm just waiting for him to release the It.
Oh, God. Well, we'll go on to that next episode or sometime.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our episode today. Again, Motel Hell, see it or don't see it.
I say don't.
Our opinion. So, like I said, that'll wrap up episode 6. Again, we want to just shout out to you guys. Thank you for contacting us on our social media sites. We've gotten a lot of comments from you. We've gotten a lot of feedback, and it's been great. And I'm glad you guys are listening. I just want to say you can follow us on Twitter at COH Podcast, or you can contact us by email at colossalsofhorrorpodcast@gmail.com, colossalsofhorror@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/colossalsofhorrorpodcast. So again, from us here at Colossals of Horror, have a great one, and we will... Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going to be doing next week's episode.
We got a little bit of break.
I'm going to be away in Florida, so we're going to take a week off.
Oh, someone's going to the sunny state while I'm here in PA.
So when we come back, we're actually going to be reviewing the film Under the Bed, which is a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
So that's a good one. If you're listening to this episode, try to watch it over the next week or whatever, and then you can follow us along with our review. So again, we will end it like that today, and we will see you guys later.
All right, keep it horror alive, guys.